There is a threshold most people cross every night without ever noticing it. It is not the moment of sleep itself. It is the soft, luminous border just before. The place where the ordinary mind loosens its grip. And something quieter begins to speak in images. Most of us pass through it in a hurry. We collapse past it, tumbling into unconsciousness like falling off a small cliff. But Herbert Silberer stayed there long enough to watch what happened. And what he saw changes the way the edge of sleep feels forever. Tonight we are going to walk that threshold very slowly. Not to analyze it. Not to master it. Simply to recognize what the psyche does when it is neither fully awake nor fully asleep. Take a long moment now. Let the body settle into whatever position it has chosen. Feel the weight of the head against the pillow or the chair. Feel the way the shoulders rest. The way the arms lie. The way the legs have already begun to grow heavier. Notice the places where the body meets the surface beneath it. Let the breath slow on its own, without force. There is nowhere else you need to be. Nothing you need to finish. Nothing you need to remember. Nothing you need to hold. You are already at the beginning of the crossing. In 1909, a young Austrian named Herbert Silberer began paying close attention to the exact moment his mind started to dissolve into sleep. He would lie down in the quiet, still trying to hold a thought, and watch what appeared behind closed eyes. What he discovered was not random hallucination. It was something far more precise, almost intimate. When two forces meet inside you, the soft, passive pull of drowsiness, and the gentle, active effort to keep thinking, the psyche begins to paint. It creates images that are not about the past, not about wishes or unfinished business, not about the stories you tell yourself in the daylight. They are pictures of the present state of the mind itself. Silberer named this the autosymbolic phenomenon. The self symbolizing itself. The psyche looking at its own condition and offering a living portrait. Imagine the first force, drowsiness. It arrives like a slow tide moving across flat land. First the feet grow heavier. Then the legs. Then the arms rest more deeply against the bed or the chair. The edges of thought soften, as if someone has drawn a thin veil across the mind. Sounds from the room begin to feel farther away. Not gone, just less urgent. A quiet warmth spreads through the body, as if gravity itself has become kinder, more patient. The jaw loosens. The space behind the eyes grows softer. Even the sense of time begins to stretch and blur. Minutes no longer feel like minutes. They feel wider, slower, less defined. The ordinary sharp edges of the day begin to dissolve. Now imagine the second force. The small remaining effort to think. A sentence you are still trying to finish. A problem that has not quite resolved. A faint determination to stay present just a little longer. To hold on to the last clear thread of awareness before it slips away. When these two currents meet, and neither fully wins, something remarkable happens. The mind begins to represent its own condition in living pictures. This is functional symbolism. The psyche showing you how it is working in that exact moment. Perhaps you see yourself climbing a long stone stairway that keeps lengthening as you climb. Each step is slightly higher than the last. Your legs feel the effort, the quiet strain in the muscles of the thighs and calves. Yet the top never quite arrives. The air grows cooler the higher you go. The light changes, becoming thinner, more silver. There is no panic. Only the steady recognition that this is what effort feels like. When it is neither sharp nor fully released. You continue climbing. And the staircase continues to unfold beneath your feet. The walls on either side, if there are walls, are smooth and cool to the touch. Or you are walking through tall grass that grows thicker and wetter with every step. The stalks brush against your arms and the sides of your face. The ground softens beneath your feet until each step sinks a little deeper. You keep walking, but the resistance is gentle, continuous, almost intimate. The grass closes behind you as you pass, erasing the path you have just made. There is no urgency to reach the other side. Only the sensation of moving through something that both yields and resists at the same time. The air smells of green and damp earth. Or you find yourself holding a large, intricate knot of dark thread. You try to loosen one loop, and another tightens somewhere else. The more carefully you work, the more the tangle seems to rearrange itself under your fingers. There is no frustration in the image. Only the precise representation of a mind that is still trying, still engaging, while the body is already beginning to let go. The thread is cool and slightly rough against the skin. It has a quiet weight of its own. You can feel every small twist and crossing of the strands. Sometimes the functional image is quieter, almost still. You might see a single candle burning in a large, empty room. Its flame is steady but small, and the walls absorb most of the light. The room feels vast around that small point of warmth. Shadows rest in the corners. Nothing moves except the slight flicker of the flame. The silence in the room is complete. Or a boat drifting on still water, while a thin rope still connects it to the shore. The rope neither taut nor fully slack. It simply exists between two states. The water is dark and calm. The shore is distant but still visible. You sit in the boat without needing to do anything. The gentle rocking is almost imperceptible. Or a door that is neither fully open nor fully closed, resting in the exact middle of its arc, neither inviting entry nor sealing the room. The light on one side is slightly different from the light on the other. You stand before it, feeling the quiet tension of a threshold that has not yet decided. The wood of the door is smooth under your hand if you reach toward it. Each picture is a mirror, the psyche looking at its own state and offering a portrait without judgment. There are other kinds of images as well. Sometimes the picture shows the content of a thought itself, an abstract idea turned into a concrete scene, so the half-sleeping mind can hold it. Silberer called these material phenomena. A complicated decision might appear as a forked path in a forest at dusk. One path leads into denser trees. The other opens toward a faint clearing. Neither is marked. You simply stand at the fork, feeling the weight of the choice without needing to make it yet. The light is low and even. The air is still. Leaves hang motionless. You can feel the presence of both paths, without needing to choose between them. The ground underfoot is soft with moss or fallen leaves. A half-formed insight might take the shape of a small object, held in the palm of the hand. A smooth stone. A key without a lock. A folded piece of paper that has not yet been opened. The object is clear, but its meaning remains just out of reach, as if the mind is still arranging the pieces. The weight of it in the hand feels familiar, even if you do not yet know why. The surface of the object is cool or slightly warm, depending on the nature of the thought it carries. A memory that is not quite ready to surface might become a closed book lying on a wooden table, its cover faintly glowing in the low light. You know the book belongs to you. You do not need to open it yet. It simply rests there, waiting. The wood of the table is worn and worn. Dust motes float in the quiet air above it. The silence around the book is complete. And sometimes the image comes directly from the body. A growing heaviness in the limbs becomes the sensation of sinking slowly into deep, soft earth. The earth is worn. It receives you without resistance. There is no fear of being buried. Only the feeling of being held more completely than the mattress or the chair can manage. The earth rises gently around the shoulders, around the arms, around the sides of the face. It supports the back of the head. It holds the weight you no longer need to carry. You can feel the quiet pressure of it, steady and kind. A slight tension in the chest becomes a smooth stone resting just above the heart. The stone is warm, not heavy. It rises and falls with the breath, as if it has always been part of the body. There is no need to move it. It simply belongs. Its surface is polished by time. It has a quiet presence that neither asks nor demands. The gradual cooling of the skin becomes a fine mist settling over a quiet landscape at evening. The mist does not chill. It softens every edge, until the boundary between body and air begins to blur. You can no longer tell where the skin ends and the soft air begins. The mist moves slowly, almost thoughtfully, across the surface of everything. It has a silver quality in the low light. These are somatic symbols, the body speaking in the language of vision, translating its quiet signals into pictures the half-sleeping mind can receive. Then there are the threshold images. These appear again and again at the border of sleep, and they carry a particular atmosphere, neither urgent nor indifferent, simply true. You might find yourself standing at the edge of a wide field at twilight. The sky is neither day nor night, it holds both. A low path leads into a line of trees that grow darker as they recede. There is no urgency to enter, only the quiet knowledge that the path is there, and that it has always been there, waiting for the moment when ordinary awareness softens enough to notice it. The grass is long and still. The air smells faintly of earth and coolness. A slight breeze, if there is one, moves the grass without sound. Or you are walking down a long corridor lined with soft, indirect light. Doors appear on either side. Some slightly ajar, some closed, some so perfectly flush with the wall that they almost disappear. You do not need to open them. The corridor itself is the transition. Each step takes you farther from the room you left, and closer to whatever waits beyond the far end. Though the far end never quite arrives. The floor is smooth beneath your feet. The light does not change. Only the sense of distance grows softer, more dreamlike. The air in the corridor is still and cool. Sometimes the image is of water, a calm lake at the edge of evening. You are already in a small boat, drifting outward. The shore is still visible, but growing softer. The details of trees and buildings dissolving into shape and color. The water holds you without effort. There is no need to row. The boat moves because the threshold itself is moving. Ripples spread slowly outward and disappear. The sky above is reflected almost perfectly in the dark surface of the water. You can feel the gentle give of the water beneath the boat. Or you are descending a gentle slope into a valley filled with low mist. Each step takes you a little deeper into the quiet. The mist rises around your legs, then your waist, then your chest. Cool and soft. There is no fear in the descent. Only a sense of being received by something that has been waiting with infinite patience. The farther you go, the quieter everything becomes. Sounds from the upper world fade. Even your own footsteps grow distant. The mist has a soft density, like cool silk against the skin. Sometimes the threshold appears as a simple doorway filled with soft darkness. You stand before it. The darkness is not empty. It has a texture, a quiet density, like velvet or deep water. You do not need to step through. Simply standing there is already the beginning of the crossing. The air near the doorway feels different. Cooler, softer, more still. It seems to wait without urgency. The edges of the doorway are slightly soft, as if the darkness is gently breathing. These threshold scenes are the psyche's way of marking the passage. They are not instructions. They are recognitions. The mind acknowledging that ordinary awareness is loosening, and that something else, quieter, older, more continuous, is beginning to take its place. What is remarkable is how accurate these images can be. The mind does not invent randomly at the edge of sleep. Under the right conditions, it produces a living portrait of its own condition, of the strain in its thinking, the heaviness in the body, the exact quality of the transition it is making. It is as if, for a brief window, the observer and the observed become one. The psyche looks at itself and speaks in the only language available when words begin to fail. Image. This is not the same as ordinary dreaming. Dreams usually arrive later, after the threshold has been fully crossed, when the conscious mind has released its last hold. Autosymbolic phenomena belong to the edge, the soft, flickering zone, where the unconscious first begins to make itself known, without yet taking over completely. You may have experienced this without ever naming it. One night, just as sleep was approaching, you saw yourself walking down a long hallway that grew darker with every step, the light behind you thinning, until it became a small rectangle in the distance, or standing at the edge of a forest that both invited and resisted you. The trees neither welcoming nor forbidding, simply present. Or watching a small light, a lantern, a window, a star, slowly disappear into distance, while something in you remained still, watching it go. And for a moment the image felt strangely right, as if it were showing you something true about the state you were in. Something the waking mind would never have said so simply. Silberer invites us to notice these moments with a quieter attention, not to interpret them heavily, not to turn them into problems to solve or symbols to decode, simply to recognize. This is the mind reflecting itself, as it prepares to let go. There is something almost tender in this process. The psyche does not abandon you at the edge of sleep. It continues to communicate. it continues to represent. Even as ordinary awareness softens, something in you is still watching, still creating, still speaking in the language of symbol. In that sense, the hypnagogic state is not merely a passage to be rushed through. It is a small, nightly invitation to witness the autonomous life of the psyche. The same psyche that spends the day behind the ordinary mask of personality reveals a little of its working in the quiet moments when we are almost gone. It does not demand attention. It does not require understanding. It simply continues its quiet work of representation, offering pictures of the present, so that the transition may be known, even if only for a few soft seconds, before sleep takes over completely. You do not need to stay awake for this. If the images begin to arise as you listen, let them. If the body grows heavier, let it. If thought loosens, and the words start to drift away from their meanings, that is not a failure of attention. It is the threshold itself. The autosymbolic process does not require your effort. It only requires the soft conditions Silberer described. A little drowsiness, and the fading remainder of an effort to stay present. When those two meet, the psyche begins to paint. And what it paints is always, in some quiet way, a picture of you. Rest now. The threshold is already here. You may see a long corridor with soft light, doors resting half open on either side. You may feel yourself drifting on still water, the shore growing softer behind you. You may sense the gentle descent into a valley of mist that rises to meet you without urgency. You may stand before a doorway filled with quiet darkness that has the texture of velvet or deep water. Whatever appears, you can simply allow it. There is nothing more you need to hold, nothing more you need to finish, nothing more you need to understand. The images can fade. The thoughts can loosen. The body can grow heavier and softer, as if the earth itself is receiving you more completely than any bed. You are already at the edge. You may cross whenever you are ready. Very long soft looping close designed to be repeated for extended sleep sessions. The corridor is quiet. The light is soft and indirect. Doors rest half open on either side, neither inviting nor closing. The floor is smooth beneath you. Each step, if there are steps, makes no sound. The air does not move. Time feels wide here. There is no need to reach the end. The water is still. The boat drifts without effort. The shore grows softer. Details dissolving into shape and color. Ripples move outward and disappear. There is nothing to steer toward. Nothing to leave behind. Only the quiet holding of the water. The sky is reflected almost perfectly. The mist rises slowly. It receives the legs, the waist, the chest. It is cool and soft. There is no fear in the descent. Only the sense of being held by something that has always known how to hold you. The farther you go, the quieter it becomes. Even the sense of going begins to dissolve. The doorway stands open. The darkness beyond has a texture, a quiet density. You do not need to step through. Simply standing here is already the beginning of the crossing. The air near the threshold feels different. Cooler, softer, more still. It waits without urgency. The edges of the doorway are soft. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be known. Only this soft border, where the mind paints its own leaving and its own return. The images can fade. The body can rest more deeply. The breath can slow until it is barely noticeable. The space behind the eyes grows soft. The edges of the room dissolve. Even the sense of listening begins to loosen. Even the sense of being someone who is listening begins to soften. Rest. The threshold holds you. You can let go. The corridor is quiet. The light is soft. Doors rest half open. The water is still. The boat drifts. The shore grows softer. The mist rises. It receives the legs, the waist, the chest. The doorway stands open. The darkness has a texture. You do not need to step through. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be known. Only this soft border, where the mind paints its own leaving and its own return. Rest. You can let go. The corridor is quiet. The water is still. The mist receives you. The doorway stands open. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be known. Only this soft border. Rest. You can let go. The corridor is quiet. The light is soft and indirect. Doors rest half open on either side. The water is still. The boat drifts without effort. The shore grows softer. The mist rises slowly. It receives you. The doorway stands open. Simply standing here is already the beginning. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing needs to be known. Only this soft border. Rest. You can let go.